Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
Here we go. Another live video stream for YouTube. And yes, I'm sorry that this video stream is not in HD. For some reason, YouTube won't enable me for HD streaming. They never respond to my email requests. And I find that awfully ironic. The world's biggest internet company doesn't know how to respond to email. I'm trying to connect to the right team. Actually, I'm very appreciative that YouTube has given me the chance to stream this live to you. And I'll get to the unboxing in a flash. Okay, that's a different Flash. That would be Flash Gordon theme, not Bazinga. This hoodie, by the way, courtesy of staticstuff.com. They have all sorts of geek gear. In fact, the 50th person to order something on staticstuff.com to use my name in the comments form within the order will get to hang out with me, like in a live video on... Sorry about that. Hopefully I didn't get any in my mustache, or as I like to call it, my lip brow. I will, however, shave this mustache live here on YouTube, if you are watching live, if we have 2,000 people tune in for this live video feed. We got to get to 2,000, though, and we just started, so we got to give it a bit of time. I am not expecting that many of you will show up, because it is Friday afternoon, and let's face it, oh, hang on. I bet you'd rather see something more interesting behind me. There you go. Nice little screensaver. I'm just going to guess that many people are not watching YouTube live right now on a Friday evening. They are out doing this. So I just wanted to say I am one of you. I am doing this as well. My unboxing juice tonight happens to be an Obsidian Stout. Huge fan of porters, and of course stouts as well, since stouts are pretty much porters, just stronger porters or double porters, extra porters, whatever you want to say. Hey, come on. You want to watch a boring unboxing? Go somewhere else. This is a Chris Pirillo Locker Gnome live unboxing. You, by the way, should have received the push notification from our free Locker Gnome app available for right now, iOS and Android in the app stores. And, you can download it and get to all sorts of crazy content, including the ability to turn on push notifications to be notified when we are streaming live on YouTube. No matter what we are doing it for you. And speaking of, a couple of other links in this video's description, including the ability to get free iTunes gift cards, potentially even Google Play gift cards, go.tagjag.com/free apps, and go.tagjag.com/free points. Again, just for iOS and Android users, just tap those links directly from your device. I'll get the referral credit for telling you about the link, and everybody will be happy. So, speaking of being happy, let me thank Parallels for passing this along. Yeah, this MacBook Air, which I'm going to be using for the... Give me a second. Better. This MacBook Air, which I will be using for the foreseeable future, will eventually be one of yours. I will be giving away this MacBook Air. At what point? I don't know. Don't ask me when, because every time someone asks me, when are you going to give away the MacBook Air? I push it back by another day. So don't worry. It will eventually be one of yours when we're finished with it, and we're probably going to be using it for a while. In fact, one of the reasons why I reached out to Parallels to do this, one, I wanted to see the performance of Parallels on a MacBook Air, and two, because I wanted to compare this MacBook Air to a Surface Pro. So stay tuned for the video comparing the MacBook Air to a Surface Pro, and I've talked about why that is about as fair a comparison as could be made. I mean, they're both running on the Intel platform, great platform. They are both ultra portable. They're right around the same price point, depending on how you configure each one of the devices, although the Surface Pro really doesn't have too many configuration options. You can get the 64 gig or the 128 gig. So, in terms of specifications on this bad boy, it's a 13-inch LED backlit widescreen notebook. So it's the 13-inch, not the 11-inch. Actually, technically speaking, 13.3-inch. It is a 1.8 gigahertz dual-core Intel Core i5, 3 meg of L3 cache, turbo boost up to 2.8 gigahertz, 4 gig of onboard memory. By the way, it's clocked at 1600 megahertz. Of course, flash storage inside. Flash storage inside We also have the Intel HD Graphics 4000 card powering its video, a built-in FaceTime HD camera, which is ironic again because I'm not streaming in HD. Sorry about that. Blame YouTube. I'm working on getting HD. You know, if you guys know someone at YouTube who does the streaming thing, maybe you can get a hold of them because I can't. Why? I can get a hold of them. I'm trying to get a hold of them. I want this to be HD for you. We also have an SD card slot, 2 USB 3 ports. Huh? Does your computer have USB 3? That's what I thought. This one does. So does the Surface Pro, by the way. Headphone port, built-in stereo speakers, Thunderbolt port, and let's see here. Oh, of course, Bluetooth 4.0, Wi-Fi up to 802.11n, backlit keyboard, which I love backlit keyboards, and of course, OS 10, blah, 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 blah. All right, so let's go ahead and unbox this sucker, shall we? Because that's what this is about. An unboxing and potentially first impressions to all 783. I hate to disappoint those of you watching live. We are nowhere near 2,000. Better luck next time. I'm going to keep the mustache and the soul patch, because if I do not keep the soul patch, I will have no soul. I don't know if you guys knew that. I don't have a soul. This is as good as it gets right there. Let's go ahead, bust through the cellophane here. First time. Hopefully we will get a good box fart. Apple's usually pretty good with box farts. Not as good as other manufacturers, but well, keep your fingers crossed. A second here. I'm parched. This is a lot of work, you know? Unboxing hot equipment. Though it's not hot yet because it's not running. I don't know how hot it's going to run. I haven't run it yet. The MacBook Air is one sexy piece of equipment. Let me tell you. You know, when Intel started pushing their Ultrabook initiative, everyone kept comparing Ultrabook PCs to the MacBook Air. And I guess by all definitions, a MacBook Air is an Ultrabook PC. Very portable, and more importantly, very powerful. And I think that's really the bottom line. The only other MacBook Air I had, I wouldn't say was underpowered. It just wasn't as powerful as the MacBook Pros that I had at that point in time. All right, everybody, here we go. We're going to dump the box. No, we just got a flack. And that flack, quite honestly, was just the box hitting the desk. There is the MacBook Air with the classic Apple logo. And we're just going to go ahead and pop that out very gently. As gently as I can. Without losing all the other accessories. You know, doing unboxings like this sometimes isn't the easiest thing to do. So here we have the power adapter, the cable, the cable that goes into the power adapter, and the instructions and warranties and everything, and designed by Apple in California. So you know it's real. If you ever get like a designed by Apple in Schenectady, you probably got a knockoff. Just so you know, they don't design anything in Schenectady. At least not yet. That may happen at some point in the future. Many people probably had no idea that Schenectady even existed. It's a real word. If you know how to spell it, look it up. Google map it. Or Bing map it if you want. You could even MapQuest. I don't care. Nokia Maps, possibly. I don't care which service you use. Let's see here. I'm checking the comments because I'm watching what you guys are saying. Everyone's with me. Great. All right, let's move forward. And okay, it's not super lightweight, but it's pretty thin. I mean, at least in the front. Tapers off. Of course, is a bit thicker in the back. Up here, when you're holding on the device, it feels very thin. And quite honestly, I think a lot of people are going to be holding on to the device like this when they're carrying it around up at the front. And I will open it up as soon as I unwrap the cellophane. In the back, I don't know if they're going to hold it that much. It's definitely heavier in the back than it is in the front. But come on, it's a traditional laptop, could be used on the desk, is likely not something that's going to weigh you down. Not super, super, super light, but not super, super heavy either. Not as light as an iPad. I'll get into a comparison with the Surface Pro in another video. Another time. In another video, I guess I should say. Hang on. Let me refresh myself. Better. All right, so let's go ahead and take the cellophane off this puppy. This could be yours. And by the way, let's make a deal. Even though we've got about 1,000 people watching live right now, thank you for that. If you are tuned in live, thank you for liking this video. See that thing? That's all you got. Just press the little like button and you share it with your friends. If we reach 4,000 likes for this video, I will shave my mustache. Of course, I won't be able to do it live, at least not as long as you can see it. I might record it for the Perillo vlog. Let's go ahead and open her up. Now, see, that is what I appreciate about the MacBook Air, and quite honestly, a lot of Apple's mobile products. Did you see how I just needed one hand to lift the screen away from the base? Apple, when they talk about design, that is, how can I put it? Convenient, well thought out, well planned, great execution. Try doing that with your notebook. You might be able to. Some notebooks are designed that way, but I know that's something that I've grown accustomed to. Just holding on to it in one hand and lifting the screen with the other. Something to note in the MacBook Air design. Let's go ahead and take this piece away. There, I'm assuming to keep the keyboard from touching the screen, especially during shipment. Let me go ahead and set that. Wow, this really does feel extremely light. On this side, we've got the SD card. We've got a Thunderbolt port and a USB port. On the other side, we've got the power connector. We've got a microphone, it seems, the headphone jack, and then the other USB ports, the screen, the touchpad. And I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. If you guys don't mind, do you mind? Does anybody really mind? You might mind. I don't care. Even if you mind, I'm doing it anyway. Because you know what? It's this video that is really mine. But it's yours. It can be your video. Someone notes, since the back is heavier, wouldn't it be better to hold there? Not necessarily, because it's well balanced even in the front. Even holding onto it like this, yes, it definitely, when the screen is open like that, it definitely does feel heavier in the back. But when it's shut, it doesn't feel uncomfortable holding it specifically in the front. All right, get this power brick going here. Got all this plastic. Oh, by the way, you know, I just cannot wait for the day where we do not have to rely on connecting items for power, and I think that day is coming. It's fast approaching. I just like to have my devices plugged in before first boot up. There is some amount of cellophane on this power adapter. If I can find the tabs to open it up, I can get the damn thing removed. Some people are asking questions that I've already answered, even though I know that they're tuned in maybe a little late. They can always go back and rewind this video since it will be recorded for posterity. This, by the way, is the new connector on a lot of the newer MacBook Pros. And I know because I have a Retina Display MacBook Pro and it uses the same adapter, same size. So I appreciate that. Don't need to swap out adapters too often. The power button on this MacBook Air is over here. So let's go ahead and boot her up for the first time. Love that chime, don't you? Really? Love that? I like the chime. It does get annoying at times, though. I kind of wish I could, turn it off on some machines, especially when I'm rebooting in the middle of the night. I don't want anybody to know, or of course the dogs. If they hear the chime, they bark. They do not like the chime. Don't really know why. Could have been a puppy trauma. I don't know. One of the dogs did puke on one of my first MacBook Pros. Not since then, though. Someone is asking, Coleman Ramsey, and I'll take your question, sure. Would you use it as an everyday laptop? I probably would, to tell you the truth. Very, very lightweight, and as I said, it's ample. Boot it up, nice and fast. I don't know if I want to jump through.
For the main language, press the return key.
Wow, nice timbre in that guy's voice. That guy, the computer voice. I don't know if I want to go through and set it up at this point in time just because I don't want to belabor this video. But suffice it to say, there's a reason these things are so damn popular. Very powerful, very portable, very capable. So if I had to use a MacBook Air as my daily machine, I absolutely would. If only because of speed. I mean, yes, it's running an Intel Core i5, or at least the processor, but certainly having the SSD in conjunction with it makes it even faster. And to me, if you're all about productivity, you have to have an SSD. And I know many of you would rather have a greater storage capacity, so you're not looking at getting an SSD in your configuration, but I would choose speed any day of the week, and that to me screams productivity. What would you do most on this? Average computer stuff? It's a great computer. There are a lot of great computers out there. I would use all the software that I wanted to use. Okay, at least that happened to be available for OS 10. Oh, and speaking of, we launched deals.lockergnome.com the other day, and we've got a Mac software bundle as well as a PC software bundle. So it doesn't matter if you're Mac or PC, although I can't imagine if you're not a Mac why you would watch this unboxing video and me showing you all the stuff that came with the MacBook Air. Yeah, I'm looking to save you guys money. That's really what I do. I like doing that. I don't know if I can save you money on a MacBook Air. I'll work on it. Give me some time. Do I think 64 gig is enough for a laptop? Depends on what you're going to do. If you're doing a lot of video processing, possibly, although I would err on the side of a 128 gigger for video. 64 gig is enough for, I think, a lot of lighter tasks. But honestly, it's getting to the point where 128 should be a minimum, certainly for the Surface as well as for the MacBook Air. Is the screen and borders unibody? I do believe so. Believe the MacBook Air has been unibody design, like the whole thing. I mean, every time. I could be mistaken. Don't quote me on that. I mean, does it seem like there are any other parts around it? Does it seem like... I mean, there are screws on the bottom, but... seems unibody-ish to me. Is that a word? Unibody-ish? Is it good for video editing? Dude, it's Core i5. Yes, it's good for video editing. I would say that about any Core i5 system, though. Any other questions here before I wrap this unboxing up? Kind of some initial impressions, initial hands-on. I mean, like I said, this is a very, very capable machine. I'm very grateful that Parallels have passed it along. I plan on putting, let's see here, Windows 8, Windows 7, Windows XP possibly, Ubuntu, and Chrome OS on this thing with Parallels, and of course running side by side with OS 10. If only to demonstrate that you can do that with Parallels on a Mac that you can't necessarily do right now on a Surface. This is one big difference. So if you want to have Windows 7, sometimes you have to think ahead to which PC you're going to buy. You may not have that option if you buy something that doesn't necessarily lend itself to having Windows XP on it. Or, I'm sorry, Windows 7, not to be confused with Windows XP. Of course, there's a lot of virtual machine software out there, but I found that Parallels is the easiest to use, and in terms of performance, it's a big fat win. Am I going to get a case? Probably not. Do I think they'll have a Retina for MacBook Air anytime soon? Possibly, but honestly, I'm not a fan of Retina displays on MacBooks. I mean, yes, it's a sharper text, but I don't think the performance matches the quality that you see. Yes, it's super high quality. My Retina Display MacBook Pro, which by the way is running this live stream, it's capable. It's just that we've got to wait for a few more generations of hardware to come out before I think Retina Display will really shine, because the finish of a sharper display will match the performance of the platform that it's running on. Not quite there yet. It's pushing itself to get that many pixels across the screen at this point in time. Which computer do I use most? I probably use this computer most of all. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and refresh to see the 1,000 people who are asking me questions right now. Chromebooks are more economical for everyday use. Yeah, they are. Chromebooks are very economical. I have no problem with Chromebooks. I happen to like mine. And especially if all you need is to get online, yeah, a Chromebook is all you might need. Might. Not necessarily, though, because they're not exactly the most powerful beasts on the planet. So if you plan on doing processing, you better get a system that's got a more capable processor. Because they're all computers, right? It depends on what you want, right? And I think that's really what it boils down to for me. So I'm just kind of looking through and getting an idea of what questions people are asking that I have not already answered, either in this video or potentially in others. How hot is it? Oh, I think it's a hot item. I don't think you would turn down receiving this MacBook Air as a giveaway or in a giveaway. So stay tuned to this channel. One of you will eventually get this MacBook Air that I'm holding in my hands. I'll autograph it if you want. I can do whatever you want to it. I mean, at that point that it becomes yours during the giveaway. Don't have any details for it yet, but as I said, this will be passed along to one of you when we are done with it here at some point in the future. But, for the foreseeable future, I plan on using this, if only to run it through the paces. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in for the live stream. How about startup time? It's fast. I booted up for the first time really quickly. You saw that. But even, outside of the initial setup, which I don't want to jump through now, it should be fast. How heavy is it? You could look up the specs, but as I said before, not too heavy. Not incredibly light for a tablet computer, but again, the MacBook Air isn't a tablet computer, so you got to compare it against other computers in its class, or certainly in its range of type of hardware, what it's designed to do as at least hardware function, not necessarily software function. Stay tuned for a MacBook Air review, specifically this one, my experiences with it. I will also be doing a comparison between this MacBook Air and a Surface Pro, since a lot of people are kind of on the fence, like, do I get a MacBook Air or a Surface Pro? And I think that's a fair comparison to make, by the way. And I've gone into that before, so I do not want to dive into it at this point in time. Don't leave, someone says. Sorry, I kind of got to move on. I've answered a lot of the questions you guys have asked. That's cool. If anybody watching this video after it's live, or even while it's live, thank you for liking it. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you for subscribing. Really appreciate that, if only to stay tuned for the future videos we do with hardware, because I am here for you. Believe it or not, that's the reason why I reach out and do these things, to make connections for you and to give you my experiences too. It's kind of fun. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you for being a great part of our community. And thank you very much for allowing me to do what it is that I do, whatever it is that I do. But right now, I need to move on and do something else. So thank you. We'll see you later. Oh, and don't forget, if we get 4,000 likes, well, you heard me mentioning it in the earlier part of the video.